This is our freezing device called the Instant Hard Freezer for concrete. We all know that concrete is used everywhere and we need to constantly use it for roads. However, liquid concrete usually takes a few days to dry and it can become annoying when we cannot drive on certain roads because of the concrete drying. So we have invented a device that would instantly dry the concrete. This way, none of us will have to wait days until we can drive on the certain roads. Since we are drying the liquid concrete, we are freezing the concrete, meaning it changes from a liquid to a solid. This is our first design of the machine. Basically, there's going to be cold air shooting out from the machine to the concrete, which causes the concrete to become solid. This will be what we think will be happening to the particles of the concrete. So before, it's gonna be a wet concrete with high kinetic energy. Yeah, there's medium kinetic energy, and the particles are more spread out. But then it's gonna turn into solid, meaning there's lower kinetic energy, and the particles are closer together. So the particles of the extra cold air that sprays from our machine collide with the particles of the wet cement mixture. The particles transfer energy when they collide. So from the collision, the liquid cement, which had higher kinetic energy at first, it loses energy and it transfers the kinetic energy to the cold air particles, which had lower energy before. So now the cement particles lose kinetic energy and they group closer together, turning into a solid.
Okay, this is about the machine in detail. The freezing point of the concrete is 25 degrees Fahrenheit, and the wet concrete is 160 degrees Fahrenheit. And the temperature of the cold air is 30 degrees Fahrenheit. When the cold air is inserted into onto the concrete, the cold particles lose kinetic energy. No, well, the hot particles lose kinetic energy as it transfers onto the cold particles that later brings it to its freezing point. And this is like the materials used for our device. The tank is made of aluminum or nickel steel so that it can hold the cold air so it doesn't turn warm quickly. And through the hose, the cold air comes out, and that's the wet cement. And there's an aluminum wrap around it, so it's still in a closed system, so that the cold air stays cold. When we press the button, the cold air will shoot out from the hose onto the cement, and this is the hole that it goes through, and the cement is wrapped in the foil. So then the cold air is blown down onto the wet cement, and this is it continued. So when the cold air is blown down, uh, it lo- it like collides with the particles of the wet cement that has a higher kinetic energy, and the cement like hot particles loses kinetic energy.
So these are some of the pros and cons of our device. So for the pros, the cement will quickly turn from uh, liquid to a solid, and you won't have to wait for a few hours. It will be fast and efficient, and the roads will be easily fixed. But there's also a few cons. For example, freezing concrete is not very safe, and it will have many disadvantages later. Freezing concrete will reduce the strength of the concrete, and this will cause many accidents to happen. Even with using the device, the concrete may not be entirely sturdy afterwards. This device hopefully will be easy to use because it is very similar to a pesticide sprayer, but we do not think it will be very cost effective. This device helps quicken the time it takes for concrete to dry, but by freezing concrete, it can become dangerous. The concrete will weaken, which will be unsafe. Although this device may seem to work at first and will probably not cost too much money, the effects in the long run will not be worth it. Concrete is usually supposed to stay protected while cooling, and it is also supposed to stay warm. this device does the opposite of this. So yes, this device may lead to concrete drying quicker, but it can become unsafe.